For more information, visit QveraGlobal.com. Kuvera, an InvestView company.
Hey, welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. It's a Money Monday, and the IG report is out. Let's go over to Frank and see what's happening with the summary and Bill Barr's recent comments.
All right. Well, so far what we're seeing, the watchdog report does not find that there was any political bias at the FBI in launching this investigation, but they criticized a number of aspects of this inquiry, including the FBI's vetting of a so-called dossier of accurate and inaccurate and unconfirmed information on alleged ties between Russia and Donald Trump. Now, so that's what we're seeing. That's the infamous Steele dossier. Steele was told on Sunday by a staffer in the Inspector General's office that details about him had been newly declassified and would be included in the report, according to two sources with knowledge of the conversation. Steele wasn't given a chance to review the new material and was not briefed on its content prior to release.
Great. Well, let's bring in a great friend of the show, Rich Valdes. He's also the host of the This Is America podcast. Rich, we were scheduled to talk about impeachment and all Rudy in the Ukraine, but the IG report has hit the newsstands. What's your take on this stuff?
Well, I think, number one, it was a setup from the very, very beginning. But this is no surprise. The swamp does what the swamp does. They're going to say there was a series of missteps and that this was done inappropriately and that was done inappropriately. And ultimately, it wasn't biased. Right? This is what they said with Hillary Clinton. This is what they said every step of the way with the human source part of the IG report. They've said everything the same way. Mr. Horowitz is an Obama guy. I think he took it right up to the edge of honesty without crossing into actually being honest to protect all of his friends.
He's a known deep stater. I mean, I think people are more focused on the Durham Report, which probably will have a little more dirt. And I guess the Durham Report has become a criminal investigation on top of it. So maybe some good stuff has happened there. But I think we all know, I mean, or at least we think that the FISA warrants is where the problems lie.
Without a doubt. And I mean, I think this report makes it clear that there's a huge problem when you have, like Frank just alluded to, using the Steele dossier that wasn't even written by Steele. It was written by the deputy AG's wife, Nellie Orr. I mean, this stuff is really, really sick and twisted. So I think if you read it, you take the time to read it, you're going to see the problems that are there. Moving forward, how do they fix it? I'm guessing just like the 9/11 Commission, there'll be a blue panel commission assigned to say, hey, this is how this is going to go. They're going to sweep it under the rug, and hopefully it never happens again.
Yeah, well, it's certainly going to be interesting. Let me ask you what's happening in Washington today. We're talking about impeachment. Judiciary Committee could vote on articles of impeachment to send to the full House as soon as this week. Where do you see this going in terms of the impeachment process, legislatively and politically?
Yeah, so legislatively, it seems that they have been putting together this impeachment report since Mueller, right? The Mueller investigation was the impeachment report that they're continuing to push along with the Ukraine call. So I think they're going to try and take that action. The only reason I think Pelosi came out in favor of impeachment as strongly as she did is because she does believe she has the votes. If she didn't, she would have continued to be coy about it. So I think they're going to do that legislatively, and they're likely going to get their will.
Well, does it make it difficult to pass all the important legislation, like keeping the government open after 13 days from now, like USMCA? I mean, it's tough to work with a guy that you're impeaching, right?
Oh, 100%, but I don't think they care. I mean, I think there's enough ample evidence out there that shows that this is their goal. They have wanted to impeach President Trump from the beginning. They figured they could stop him with the 2016 corruption, Russian collusion, etc. That didn't work. They moved on to the next one. That didn't work. Now they're on to this. They're going to try by hook or by crook to get this president, and it's not going to work. And it's my gut feeling that the American people literally see right through this act of desperation by the Democrats, and they're going to revolt.
All right. Well, Matt Gaetz was on ABC News this week with George Stephanopoulos. They were talking about the whole impeachment situation and the fact that Rudy Giuliani has now again gone to Ukraine. This was Matt Gaetz yesterday, Congressman, Republican from Florida.
very soon after I made those comments on CNN, the president put out a statement that said that Rudy Giuliani does want to come into Congress and explain his role, explain what he's been up to. And I believe that the president urging Mayor Giuliani to provide that clarity to the Congress will be helpful in resolving what seems to be odd having him over there at this time.
Well, to the Congress, you believe that Rudy Giuliani, Mick Mulvaney, Mike Pompeo should all come testify now?
Well, I believe that Rudy Giuliani has indicated that he wants to, so I think that's a moot point as it relates to the other members of the executive branch. The president has to make decisions not only for him, but for the presidency. I think it would inure to the president's advantage to have people testify who could exculpate him.
What do you think? You agree?
I think Rudy can do whatever he wants to do. He's a private citizen, and even when he's acting in his capacity as a private lawyer for the president, he's doing what lawyers do. And plus, from my understanding, is that he's doing this as part of a documentary series that he's doing with News Network. So I don't see any issue with it. I probably disagree with Congressman Gates on the fact that I think it's weird. I don't think it's weird. I think Giuliani's done a lot of work internationally over the years, and he's no stranger to being in the Ukraine.
Well, you know what I found weird is the fact that we learned today that Rudy Giuliani chose to bring as his +1 to George H.W. Bush's funeral Lev Parnas, this Ukrainian influence peddler that's now under indictment. I mean, understanding we all love Rudy Giuliani here in New York, should he have been this close to figures that were this shady? Apparently, he invited these guys to his annual 9/11 dinner that he hosts for all his commissioners that were in place on September 11th. I mean, what is he doing in bed with characters like these?
Well, I'm not a special pleader for Mr. Parnas, but I will say that, I mean, I myself, I associate with a lot of different people. And if tomorrow I invite you guys to my Christmas party and it turns out you guys aren't on the up and up, it's not my fault. So I think we've got to have a degree of grace when looking at this with Mayor Giuliani.
So I guess anyone who turned up at our Christmas party, wherever they came from, it's not my fault.
That's right.
I'm off the hook on that one.
Now, you've been rumored to be running against Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. In fact, if we could put up GF 3 and 4, she took a little bit of a victory lap on Saturday. Some news reported out of the Wall Street Journal on Friday, which shows that after chasing Amazon out of Queens, Amazon is coming to Midtown Manhattan, and they're going to be opening a facility not as large as the Queens HQ2 facility would have been at the Hudson Yards. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez actually put up a tweet of her on a couch and with the caption, "Me waiting on the haters to apologize after we were proven right on Amazon and saved the public billions." As a potential opponent of hers, what was your reaction?
Yeah, well, I laughed out loud literally when I was scrolling through Twitter and saw that. Because I think, so you're talking about a potential 25,000 jobs. This thing comes in at a little bit more than 1,000 jobs or 1,500 jobs, and somehow that's a victory lap. I think that's a far cry from a victory lap. This is what she does best, is pander and distort the facts.
Rich, one of my stated goals on this show is to make AOC bartend again. But I did dig into a bunch of these stories, and she's not totally crazy on this one because Amazon was making a whole load of promises about 25,000 jobs, but some of them were like 15 years
Yeah, let's
out.
see that other tweet.
You know what I'm saying?
To John's
In
point.
response to Hassan?
Yeah, exactly. This was her initial victory lap tweet, and she says that a lot of those 25,000 jobs that you and others were talking about were more estimates and nothing guaranteed, while the public subsidies that we would have been giving them were guaranteed.
Yeah, well, the real loss here is, irrespective of the fact that 25,000 jobs being a more long-term, you want to have a long-term tenant in New York. You don't want somebody. If they would have came and put 25,000 jobs into play day one, I mean, that would guarantee Trump a re-election. Obviously, you have to build. But the real deal here is that they're coming in at a much smaller level, and it's really hurting the people that were closest to her district. Because they're coming to Manhattan.
To me, the loss is for, New York City is a big place. There's 5 boroughs here in New York City. But Queens needs some help. And now Amazon's coming right into Hudson Yards where it's well developed. There was surrounding areas that could have been developed. There could have been jobs, construction, all those tangential things. So I think she screwed her district a little bit. And for her to kind of put her feet up and say she was right. You know, it's a little over the top. But can you take it down already? When are you going to make an official announcement?
Soon.
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 We can expect something soon. All right. If you're not already listening to it, you got to check out the This Is America podcast.
Including an exclusive interview with Devin Nunes.
Yes.
Exclusive interview with Devin Nunes.
Comes out today.
Coming out today. Where can people find that? Apple iTunes?
Yeah, Apple iTunes, wherever great podcasts are found.
This is America, and this is Rich Valdes, the host of This Is America. You're watching Liquid Lunch. Quick break. Back at you after this.